It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. If you've got a question, go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Let's start off with Joe, who's on the line from Boston. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good, Jill. Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. What's happening? What can we do for you?
Nothing. I just got laid off a couple months ago.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, well, thanks very much. But we were planning on retiring at the age of 58, and I want to know if that is still a possibility.
How old are you now?
56.
Okay, so I got 2 years, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in 2 years, you want to be done. You said a we, so you have a spouse?
Yes, my wife.
Also the same age as you or a different age?
Same age.
So you're both 56. Your wife's working still?
Yes.
How much does your wife earn?
122.
122. Any bonus or anything like that, or?
Yeah, typically around 30,000.
All right, so about 150, fair to say, for the next couple of years?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And can you guys live on that one salary now that you're laid off or not?
Yes.
What do you spend?
About 6,000 for the bare essentials a month.
Don't, let's not do bare essentials. Why should you live like a monk? How about the real number?
That would be 10,000 a month, 120.
What? That's such a huge number.
I know, but we...
All right,
yeah,
that's the 10. Okay, so 10 is
Right.
the real number you want to use.
Please.
Do you guys have kids?
4, but they're all grown and out.
Oh my gosh, you did a good job.
Yeah.
That's your gold star of the day.
Exactly.
Grown and out and on their own. Okay.
Yep.
So $10,000 a month. Let's talk about how we're going to get there. So right now, is your wife going to be contributing to retirement or not while you're laid off?
She is, yes.
What is she doing right now?
She does 20,000 a year.
Into pre-tax or post or Roth?
Pre-tax. Everything we have is pre-tax.
Is she entitled to a match?
Yes.
Up to what percent? Like 6?
I think 6%, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now tell us about all the money you've saved so that we can figure out whether or not you need to panic or not. I see I'm panicking for you, but you don't.
Yeah.
You're not. You sound very chill. So what have you guys saved?
So we have 2.9 million in 401ks and everything combined.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And any other assets that you have?
No, that's about it.
Brokerage account? No. Savings? No.
Savings, we have about 50 grand emergency savings, kind of.
And what about home? You own a home?
We own a home. It's worth about 700,000, and we owe 61 on it.
That's it?
Yep.
When's that paid off? Soonish, right?
About 5 years, I think.
Great. Okay.
Yep.
And you want to stay there?
Yes.
Okay. So we know that right now you would have to dip into your retirement account, right? So just to make this transition. When you got laid off, did you get severance or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But can I just mention that my wife, they normally have a buyout program, and the typical buyout is 2 years' salary, and we get to stay on their health insurance for, whatever we need to pay.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
So how long do we have to wait for that? You say in 2 years? Is that what the game plan is? So that you say, okay, from 56, so I got a couple of different time horizons. I have 56 to 58.
Yep.
Then I have from 58 to 60 where she's going to get her salary for 2 years, right?
Right.
Okay. So then from there at age 60, we're dipping into your 401k to pay for what you need, right?
Yep. Yes.
And then are you either of you entitled to a pension?
I have a small pension that starts at 64 for about $2,500 a month.
No, it's not so small. 30 grand a year.
Yeah, I'll take it.
What about your Social Security? What does that look like at your full retirement ages, like at 67?
Mine's 3,200. Mm-hmm. And my wife's is 3,500.
So essentially, if I can get you guys to 67, we're pretty golden, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Mark, from 56 to 58, what I am thinking about is I think the wife should actually stop putting money into retirement. Do you agree with, up to the match, and that's it. What do you think?
I agree. They have enough in retirement.
All right. So no retirement contributions, except she's going to put up to the match.
Okay.
So what the question is then, what are we going to do? Because they don't have that much money in terms of making their cash flow needs, like this 10 grand a month. I guess we could do the rule of 55, Mark. What do you think of that?
I mean, they could. I mean, she's what is she earning? 150,000?
150, but after tax, they're close. They're close. I think maybe the other thing we could do is we could take a loan against her 401k if you need a little free cash. If you're having a really hard time, that could be a possibility also.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that'll prevent us from having to make a big decision. So then what happens is once you get to, let's say, age 60 for you guys, you start pulling money out of your retirement accounts. That's what you're living on. That 2.9 or, hopefully, $3+ million,
Yeah.
you can use that from age 60 to 67. That'll give you your 10 grand a month. Just keep pulling it out, live on it. That's fine. Pay yourself. That's your pension. That's in addition to your pension. Yeah. And then at 67, you have all that Social Security money coming in. And now we're looking pretty good. Mark, will they make it or not?
They probably would, but he wants to take Social Security early at 62.
Why? Yeah. Why are we doing 62?
Because we're not. Well, I guess I'm really not sure. It just seems like that would help us bridge the gap with the 25.
Are you a healthy man?
Yeah, relatively, yeah. But
you have longevity?
My wife has longevity. Not in, well, my mom and my dad, no. So kind of in the middle. I'm guessing like 80s, mid-80s.
80s will make it work.
Yeah.
I'd rather wait. I'd rather look, the retirement account money is going to cause a problem going forward. Isn't that weird for me to say that? I don't want it to make, it's not a problem, but it's going to force the money out of the account at a time when you have no control over the tax situation. I'd rather pull the money out now and wait for Social Security. And the longer you wait, I mean, I'm not saying you have to wait till 70. She might wait till 70, but we'll see. But for you, I would wait. I would do it at 67. Yeah. I would live on my money in that retirement account. That's your money. Pay yourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that'll work better. And, if we see that you are well ahead of the game, if all of a sudden it's a few years from now and she's like, I'm going to keep working, everything is good, then, you can pull less money out from the retirement accounts. But do you sense at age 56 you're done? Like that's it, we're done?
Well, we've talked about that, and we think we both may work part-time.
I mean, that'll really help you guys out, especially in those years. Even if you said to me, you know what, I'm going to just make it up. I can make $30,000 to $40,000 a year. That would be to me a lot of padding for the plan. And if you each could make, let's just say 30 grand each for a few years, this is going to help you guys out enormously. And it will prevent you from either claiming Social Security early, and it would also prevent you from I think dipping into your retirement account before the age of 59 and a half. Again, we can figure it out how to do it, but I think it would give you a little more confidence in doing that. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is the program that is meant to help you navigate whatever is going on in your financial life. If you've got a question, if something's going on, if there's a big transition looming, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us on the air live, just check that box, and producer Mark will do everything else because he is the best executive producer in the world. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday. And also, check out our subscription service called Jill on Money Live. That is where you pay $35 for 12 months and have access to 4 live webinars and special video content. Our next webinar is coming up on Thursday, November 14th. We are going to do some year-end planning with a CFP CPA named Michael Goodman, and we're going to help you figure out how, once and for all, to do tax loss harvesting or take advantage of those winners that are sitting there in your account. That's a good problem to have, gang. Don't worry. But you can only join us if you are a member of Jill on Money Live. So again, check that out on the JillOnMoney.com website. Of course, there's plenty of free stuff on the website, like our free weekly newsletter, which comes out Fridays. Also, we've got a variety of things that we write, like our blog. We've got videos. There are resources, all at the JillOnMoney.com website. I encourage you to bookmark it so you never have to wonder, where was that website again? Oh, yeah, it's Jill on Money. I bookmarked it. All right, right now, let's talk to Nicole, who's on the line from Colorado. And Nicole, you've been with us before. So how long ago were you on the program with us?
It might have been 3.5 years ago.
Oh, my God. How much you look so different. I mean, I can't see Nicole. I'm only kidding. So why did you get in touch with us then and tell us what's going on now?
Back then, we were living with my in-laws while trying to pay off some debt. Got that debt taken care of. We're back in our house that we own. But I recently went through kind of a forced reset. And because of that, I finally did some consolidation of my accounts. And right now I'm sitting in a lot of cash. And so I want to make sure that I allocate that correctly.
Awesome. So, Nicole, how old are you now?
I'm 47.
And you have a partner?
Yes, my husband is 48.
Okay. And what's going on work-wise for you guys?
So yeah, my company closed last year. We were all laid off, but I was able to get a 6-month freelance contract doing part of what I used to do. Mm-hmm. So that's been good, but our income is down a bit. Our expenses are up because of healthcare costs and just trying to figure out, like I said, now that I've consolidated, if I can, make the next best choice with my allocation.
Excellent. You have some kids?
Yes, 2 kids. They're 16 and 12.
Okay. Your husband is still employed full-time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how much does he earn?
$89,000.
Okay. And you had a 6-month freelance contract. And is that over or is that still happening?
It's over, but it seems like it could be most likely an annual thing that okay. I will continue to have it for 6 months of a year. And I make $81,000 on that contract.
Okay, so that's a lot. That's amazing. 6 months, 81, and he has to work 12 months and make 89. That's not very good for him, but okay. So on this level of income, right, this $170,000 of income, how do you feel? You said, certain costs have gone up, but how are you feeling about cash flow in general?
I actually feel a little tight with cash flow. I know that probably sounds terrible to some people, but don't worry about them. Worry about us. Doesn't sound like anything. It's just how you are. It is a change for us. It is lower income and higher expenses. So I'm still trying to adjust to that. So it does feel a little tight after we pay for healthcare, fund our IRAs, put a little bit into the 529s, and just pay for life and to play hockey.
Oh my God. Jeez, that is a very expensive sport. So how about giving us a breakdown of how much money you've saved for retirement?
Right now, our retirement accounts combined, our traditional IRAs are at about $274,000. Mm-hmm. Okay. Our Roth IRAs are only at $20,000 combined.
Okay.
We have an inherited brokerage, which has $162,000 in it.
Hold on a second. Inherited brokerage or inherited IRA?
No, it was an inherited brokerage. So
okay. Already taxed.
Yeah.
Does your husband have a traditional 401k that he's contributing to right now?
There's no 401k at his job, so he just contributes to an IRA.
Okay, that explains it. Also, it explains it when you think about it. It explains that you don't have any matching contribution. So it's a little bit tougher on you guys to save. We got the retirement assets. We got the inherited brokerage. How about savings and just like boring savings account?
Cash just sort of in checking. We have about 13,000. Some of this is from my recent contract. I haven't been spending all of that, knowing that it was only for a 6-month contract.
Got it.
So there's that. And then our emergency fund, which is also some of that income, is at 39,000, knowing I'll spend some of that over the next 6 months as well.
And have you been making quarterly tax estimates, or are you going to just wait? You have?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's great. So no big surprise later. Okay. What about, you mentioned, I think, some saving for kids. How much do you have socked away for the kids right now?
Yeah. So they each have a 529, and each one is worth about 55,000.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I used to get a bonus, and that's where a lot of that money came from. So
yeah, sure.
Right now we're only putting $100 in each account a month. So
I presume since neither of you has a retirement plan available, neither of you has a pension either, right?
Well, I did at my old job. It had stopped about 8 years ago. So it was kind of just a lump sum. And that's part of what I consolidated and rolled into what's now my traditional IRA.
All right. But I mean, weirdly, with all of these changes, you have done a very good job. Let's talk about the house, because now I remember exactly who you are, because you rented your house out, right?
We rented our house out. We also own a rental property.
Oh, hello. Let's do the primary first. Okay. What's the primary worth?
Around 700,000, and we owe 91,000, and that's at 2.875.
Wow. So you're not going to prepay that, right?
No.
All right, good. Now, what's the rental look like?
The rental is a shared rental with family. So it's about worth 570,000. We owe about 250, and that's at 3.8. So as much as I would like that to be, my kids' college fund or something, in the end, it would probably be something we would use towards retirement, because since we own it with family, I don't think they're not willing to sell it. If
you could sell that rental right now, you would? Is that what you're telling me? If possible? I
would love to be done with that, but I'm outvoted on that.
I mean, like, if they're not going to sell it now, why do you think you could use it for retirement? Would they allow sale of it later? Like, I'm just a little worried. This is like the worry I always have about people being like, well, me and my sister are buying a vacation property. And you're like, oh, all right. Well, I hope everyone's on board with what you're going to do.
It is owned with my in-laws, and so they are older. So I feel like either for their retirement, or if they were to pass, then we would have our half of it.
We'll get back to Nicole in just a moment. If you need some assistance, a little bit of guidance, mentoring, coaching, we're here for you. Just go to JillOnMoney.com.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we're here trying to help you make better, less bad, more considered financial decisions. Now, I know a lot of you are really on top of the stuff that you deal with every day, and you just want another set of ears and eyes on the situation. But if you're feeling a little out of control, a little out of sorts, if you've got a financial professional in your life, but you want someone else to weigh in, someone who doesn't have any vested interest, someone who's a CFP, a certified financial planner like me and Mark, then we are here to help you out. Just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, don't forget to check the box and Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, you can see all of the content that we create. It is there. We've got 2 podcasts and links to how you can subscribe to them. We've got a blog, we've got videos, we've got resources, and we've got the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every single Friday. I encourage you to subscribe to that. Right now, let's get back to Nicole, who's on the line from Colorado. Where do you, when you said you have a lot of cash, you weren't talking about the cash in the emergency reserve fund. Are you talking about cash somewhere else?
No, well, I mean, a cash position in my IRA is my biggest problem.
How much is in there?
I think I'm sitting on, in my traditional IRA, 178,000 of it is cash right now because.
Dude, what are you waiting for?
Well, I didn't know. It just landed in there from my consolidation, and I want to make sure.
Okay.
My mix is correct.
All right. So that's good. All right. So first of all, take a breath because I think you're doing really well. I get it. Like, I don't know. How much were you making full time when you were working?
My salary was 105, but there was a bonus generally of 10,000 or so. And, the match was good and the benefits were good. So,
right. So this is why, I mean, the big change is that, not just a hit to income, because you are making a lot with this 6-month freelance contract, right? So, but it's not just $35,000. It's $35,000 plus I got to pay for my own benefits, plus I don't get a match, plus. Is there any way that you can get some other work for the other 6 months of that of the year? I understand there are 12 months a year. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure though.
It's hard for me to get anything in that same field. So the layoff happened last October. And so I did just work some retail in the in-between and for a little bit of money, but nothing that's close to matching.
And what about the idea of finding another full-time job? Have you been looking and it's been really hard in your industry, or are you just like gritting it out with what you've done so far?
It is hard in my industry, so it would probably need to be a full reset and kind of a new career path.
So first and foremost, right now, you guys are maxing out your retirement accounts when you like your IRAs. You're putting in $7,000 a year.
Yes.
Okay. So you're doing that. I think you should keep doing that. I really do.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me a little bit about the kids. What's the college landscape for you guys? Is it public? Is it private? Are either of them fantastic hockey players and they'll get a scholarship? Like, what's going on?
Well, unfortunately, the oldest probably wants to go play some sort of junior hockey after high school, which means we get to pay for that. And then he would try to play in college. And even then, I don't know that there would be a scholarship for that. So
what do you mean when you explain to me the gestalt of junior hockey? What do you mean you have to, doesn't he make money playing junior hockey or not?
No.
Oh, I have no idea about this. Explain more. So you have to pay for him. Well, first of all, he has to live with you, or he has to go somewhere else and live.
Go somewhere and bill it with a family, in some small town somewhere that has a junior hockey team. So we would pay the family to host him, and then we would pay upwards of 10 to 15 grand for his ability to play on that team.
So, well, I would stop putting money in his 529 plan immediately, by the way. I would. To help your cash flow is what I'm really thinking about right now. I would just stop putting money in the 529 accounts. That's number one. Number two, how are you getting your health insurance?
It's through my husband's work, but it's a really small office. There's only 5 people, so it's basically the same as going on the marketplace.
Are your in-laws rich or something, or what? I'm just trying to figure out the other place. Because, I mean, I'm not saying that this is a terrible situation. It's just that obviously access to that equity would be huge for you right now.
Right. The rental home is next to their primary home, and they love being able to kind of control who their neighbors are. And we have other family members in that rental right now below market rate. And so I don't know, they just like being able to help family. And
have you been honest in your appraisal of what's going on? I mean, they know that your company closed, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, my husband's on board with me now that would be great for college money now. So we have had a bit of that discussion with them, and it would probably end up being them having to buy us out because they just don't want to get rid of that asset. So.
They want to buy you out. Like, you need this cash, and they're going to do like this below market rent. Like, that's their choice. That's not your choice. I'm being a hard ass about this. I'm so sorry. But like, this doesn't seem fair to me. And it really doesn't.
I wouldn't be so dead set on using that money for college either.
Yeah, me neither. Because I think you need it for retirement because you're no spring chickens, you 40 somethings, you know? Okay, let's leave that aside because you know how we feel about that.
Yes.
Let's talk about the inherited brokerage account. From whom did you inherit it and when?
My paternal grandmother. That was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago now.
So there's a lot of gains in that account, basically?
Yes.
Okay. And you're doing okay managing that on your own, or is someone helping you out?
Someone helps with that. That is one thing I did not consolidate because they've been doing well, and I just kind of left that alone.
Okay. And with the traditional that you have, where there's almost 180 grand in cash,
yes.
Where is that held?
That's at Fidelity.
And you feel comfortable, we're gonna help you allocate it. But do you feel comfortable doing this yourself, or should we be thinking about you either using that person to help you out, or should you be using the Fidelity automated service where it is invested for you, or how do you feel about it?
I would like to do it myself.
We'll finish up with Nicole in just a moment. If you've got a question, head to the website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are answering your financial questions. Right now, let's conclude our conversation with Nicole. In your other money, so the other 100 grand that's in there, what have you got?
I'm in 5 different funds right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a U.S. bond index, a Fidelity 500 index, an intermediate bond index, a total market index, and what looks like a target date fund.
Okay, this is so much fun. This is exactly, Mark and I just shot a video about this because he said, so many people, they have like so much overlap in their funds. Okay, so let's pick one. Remember, this account is not taxable to you right now. So the bond index or the intermediate term bond index, let's pick one or the other. You don't need both, one of them. So let's pick one. We've got an S&P 500 fund. Let's get rid of your target date fund. And let's give you, and the only other thing I think you need is an international fund.
Okay.
So between the S&P and the total, pick one or the other, not both.
Not both. Okay. One or the other. So just to remind people that when you have the total stock market index fund, you are including small and mid cap companies in there, whereas the S&P 500 is large cap, big companies. Now, for the last 10 years that Nicole's been managing money, basically, the large cap has dominated. But, that's not a promise. It's just that's the difference, that one has small and medium sized companies, and the other includes just the largest 500 companies. So you pick one index, then you pick either intermediate. Is it intermediate term treasury or is it intermediate term bond? I forgot that.
This is intermediate bond, and then I have a U.S. bond.
Generally would pick intermediate term bond.
Okay.
Then what I would go is get myself a little international stock index fund.
Okay.
And now tell me about your risk appetite. How do you feel about risk for you guys? Are you like hey, you know what? I want to be 100% in stocks, or, I want to be 90 stocks, 10. Like what's your risk tolerance, do you think?
Because of my age, I feel like I can't be all in stocks. I don't think.
Yeah, you don't need to be, but I mean, you certainly, because of your age, we need 20 years of growth in these accounts. So I would say that if you can stomach it, you could certainly be 70% in U.S. stocks, 10% in international, and 20% in bonds, or you can pull it back even more. But, obviously that you would be, you have to just be able to stomach the risk, the ups and the downs. And if you think you can do that for 20 years, then you can go for it. If you want a little bit less, and, you can say, I'll put 60 in U.S. stocks, 10 in international, and then 30 in bonds. Not too much less than that, because we do need this thing to grow. And it sounds like you probably can stomach the changes in a retirement account. So I think that you could do that. How's that sound for you? Okay.
Great. Yes.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the brokerage account and what's in there?
I don't even think I can count quick enough how many different things are in.
No, really?
2.5 pages of.
Okay, forget it. And everything has a gain, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about that, Mark. Should we just leave it alone?
I mean, unless you just try and whittle it down a little bit at a time, do a few funds at a time. If there's any losses in there, those are the obvious ones to go for right away.
Right. And otherwise, especially the small ones, maybe what you do is you say, you know what? You guys don't make a ton of money together. You're in the 15% capital gains rate. Maybe you can take some of those gains. And by the way, if you're feeling a little tight, maybe you say, okay, you know what? We're going to take some gains. We're going to throw a little bit of money on the sidelines. We're going to have a little extra money in savings, because it is true that now that you are a contract person, you do need access to more cash. You just have to. And then maybe that's a way to alleviate some of your cash flow. But you should be willing to pay something in the 15% tax bracket in terms of long-term capital gains. So if we can whittle that down, I think that would be easier for you. And tell the person who's helping you with that. How about life insurance? Do you have some? Because you guys, what do you got?
Well, now that I don't have my employer anymore, I just have $1 million on me and $750,000 on my husband.
All right. Well, don't die, but you are worth a lot, so that's good. What about estate documents?
Those are all done.
All right. You get big gold stars for that. That's amazing. I'm happy for you. I think we get through the next year or so. Let's just see what this is all about, this junior hockey thing. Because you're going to have to come back and talk to us. Tell us how he's doing. Okay. And also, we'll make a decision about how you're going to do a reset. I don't think you can do a reset right now to a different career, because I think we need that 6 months of money. So if a reset would mean that you have to give up that, $80,000, you can't do it.
Right, for sure. I would try to add it in the off season and see if I can get there.
Yeah. Well, listen, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Especially, given this very quirky circumstances. Tell your in-laws you want that money, but I know we're not going to really be able to do that right now. Hey, listen, they can either buy, maybe what they can do is they can say, well, you know what we'll do? We'll gift you the money that you need to help junior hockey boy. That would be a nice way to help you out if they're not unwilling to sell the house. Just saying. Okay, that's it. I'm going to stop talking about it. If you'd like to come on the program and run a scenario by us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we finish up the hour, we always like to answer an email question from you. Again, if you're shy, you don't want to come on the air live, that's fine. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. This question is from Ema, who writes, should I continue to contribute to my 401k or should I start contributing to an HSA, a health savings account? Ema says, I am 5 years out from retirement. Oh, Ema, I wonder if this is not a either or, but a both. It really does depend how much money you have already put into your retirement account, especially if it's pre-tax. You know, one of the things that we're hearing more and more from people is that they have a ton of money that has been saved over the course of their work lives in a pre-tax retirement account. You know, the thinking was put it in the account. When you actually retire, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. Well, that may or may not be the case. So I'd really have to know more about what's going on with you. I do love the idea of a high deductible health plan paired with a health savings account, not so much for today, but that you could put all that money into the account and carry that forward into your retirement years. Of course, the added bonus is that HSAs are triple tax advantaged, meaning the money that you put into an HSA, it is not taxed. It goes in pre-tax. The earnings grow without taxation. And later, when you're taking the money out to pay for healthcare costs, there's no tax due. Triple tax advantage. It's an amazing feature of the HSA. But this is a recommendation that would absolutely be predicated on what's going on in your life. Do you have other assets that are available? What does that health plan choice look like for the next 5 years? Do you have a pension? Maybe, I hope, but it doesn't sound like maybe you do. All of this is to say it's a big maybe, and I encourage you to get back in touch with us so that we can give you some better guidance. Okay, that's it. That's the hour. When we return, we're going to answer more of your questions. This is the Jill on Money Show. If you've got a financial issue, just go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money Show, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions, maybe less bad ones, just give you some guidance, maybe mentor you a little bit, get you in the right direction. If you've got a question, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com. jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us on the air live, check the box. Executive producer extraordinaire Mark Talercia will set everything up. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every Friday. This is a great way to tune up for the weekend broadcast. Right now, here's an email from Tyrone, whose subject is, do my parents need a trust? Hi, Jill and Mark. I love the show. My parents have one primary home and they rent out the bottom floor. They have no other investment properties. My dad is retired, he collects Social Security, and my mom is still working. They both have a brokerage account, traditional IRAs, and a Roth IRA. My mom will be collecting a pension when she retires. Their intentions are to leave my sister and me with 50-50 share of everything. Do they need a trust or just a will? If not, why not? This is interesting. There's a couple of things to consider. So first of all, the way that a trust works, a revocable trust, would mean that you put your assets into that trust so that the assets that are inside the trust avoid probate and can be divvied up more quickly than those that go through a state probate process. Okay, so what do you not have to think about when it comes to a trust? It's anything that passes by contract. So, for example, if you've got a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, that passes by contract to the beneficiary. So that does not go into a trust. However, there may be a better, or not even better, but a more simple workaround, which is you could have a brokerage account that is a transfer on death account. Most banks and large investment firms have this as an option, and then that is an asset that will just pass by contract. So also much easier. This leaves us just the house. And, look, they could put the house into a trust, okay? But it is a bit more cumbersome. Chances are, I guess, that your one parent would pass away, the survivor would inherit the house, and then when that survivor passed away, you and your sister would inherit it. It depends how large of an asset that is as a percentage of their estate. And, frankly, I don't really think you need a trust. I think the will would be fine, but I do think it's important for everyone listening. It's very clear to me that the state probate process has become onerous. And so that means for a lot of people, they will very much have to be thinking about these transfer on death accounts. More and more, I think that's going to be part of sort of the obvious, easy way to pass assets and not be part of the probate process. Okay, this is from James, who writes, "Hello, Jill. My partner and I are both 57 years old, and we're looking at our retirement planning, and we often listen to your show. We're hoping you might be able to direct us and make sure that we're looking okay to plan on retiring starting at around 62 years old, so in 5 years." Okay. My partner, she's got $1 million in her 401k, and James says I have about $306,000 in mine. She also has a pension. You know how I love a pension. Valued at just under $723,000. James does not have a pension. We do have a rental property. We still owe $59,000 on it. It is valued at around, let's call it $550,000. The current tenant pays $1,800 a month in rent. Our current home is valued at about $900,000. We owe $345,000 at 3.625%. Our mortgage is $2,730 per month. We have no other debt. We've got utility bills and food, and we have long-term health care insurance, $260 a month for both of us. Thank you for your help, and we love the show. Big question that I have is you didn't tell us how much money you need to live on. You gave us the mortgage and your bills and all that, but gang, I can't give you any guidance unless you tell me how much you are spending now. In fact, that is probably the most important question. Also, this pension that your partner has, does that pay out as a monthly benefit or a lump sum? All these things need to be answered. I don't know the answer to whether you can retire happily and safely in 5 years until we know the answers to those questions. Okay, this is from Sheila, and the subject is my annuity mess. Oh no, I hate these. Hi, Jill. I'm 63 years old. A year and a half ago, I moved all of my money from Vanguard to a local advisor who recommended annuities. This is not going to be good. At the time, I had $850,000. The advisor also recommended that we empty out the 401k, $130,000, and add to a bucket, as he calls them. I have 2 annuities now. I've been listening to your show, and I've already put in for a transfer for the money that is invested in Roth and IRA. They are moving this over as I write it. I plan to put all 3 accounts in stock, bond, and international index funds like you have suggested to others. Also, at my age, would you take 10% out of the annuities a year and reinvest, or leave the money in the annuities to live on? This is what my advisor had advised. It's all been so stressful. I've been single for most of my life and have worked hard to save. I feel like I've been set back, but I desperately want to retire next year. So remember, Sheila's 63. Okay, the first annuity is $302,000 and has a 7% current rate. I wonder if this is a fixed annuity. The rate goes up until you start taking payments. Once you start taking payments, it pays out monthly as long as you live, even if the money in the policy runs out. The second one is $266,000. I can take 10% a year out without penalty. Okay. I feel like things are a mess. I wish I never met this advisor. Any help would be appreciated. Also, I have some other money in Ally Bank. I'm trying to build up the 401k again. I'm guessing because they're so new, doing anything with them right now is not a great idea. Because often if you just start to move things in and out, you'll take this big penalty. On the second annuity where you can take 10% out, if that's the 401k and IRA rollover annuity, you could take 10% out, but I really have to look at these to give you more advice. What I think might be helpful is to get somebody to assist you in analyzing these. So, Sheila, what we're going to do is we're going to follow up with you, and we're going to give you a couple of names of people who might be able to help you out with this analysis for the annuity. And hopefully we can get you to a better place. This is really important, gang. If you have somebody, a financial planner, an advisor, an insurance agent who is recommending that you take all of your money and move it into annuities, that is a huge warning sign. Do not do it before you get a second opinion from an unbiased third party, okay? Or just give us a holler, because I'd like to check that out. If you have a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll get your note. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. Right now, let's get to listener Andrew, who's on the line from Colorado. What can we do for you, sir?
So my wife and I are suddenly home shopping. We owned a plot of land and a condo, decided to forego building on the lot, and are now shopping for longer term homes. We live in a mountain kind of ski resort town, so prices are a little higher than what we're used to spending on houses in the past. And doing my due diligence, looking at our assets, looking at our income, and kind of what fits into our budget, I backed into a number that was a little higher than I was maybe comfortable with, and wanted to just confirm with you guys that I'm not missing anything, or what an appropriate budget might be for what we're looking for.
That sounds very interesting, because I always it's like, well, I had a number in mind. That's not the number. Did you already sell the lot of land?
Yep, we sold a lot of land. A couple of weeks ago, we closed. And so we have a big cash balance there that we'd be using for this, as well as eventually some equity from the condo that we would be looking to sell.
How much do you have in proceeds from the land, and how much equity from the condo could we count on?
So right now, liquid set aside just for the house, there's about $127,000.
Okay.
The condo, I would estimate, is worth $375 to $400. We'd probably net between $70 to $100,000, and I'm using $70,000 in my calculations to be conservative. So almost $200,000 total.
Okay, and the mortgage on the condo, how much was the interest rate on that mortgage?
We snuck in just under 6%. It's 5.99.
Okay, so it's not going to be such a huge change for you. In terms of, okay, because if you said like 2.99, you were like, that sticker shock might really drive you insane.
Yeah, we got the condo about 2 years ago, so rates had just started climbing back then.
Got it. And how old are you guys?
We are both 36, 3 days apart.
Okay. And do you have kids?
Nope, no kids now, and not planning to.
How much do you guys earn together?
My income's pretty set. My wife's is variable. Total, I conservatively estimate about $235 to $250 a year.
Okay, that's great. And are you guys making retirement contributions?
Yep, I max out my 401k 50-50 pre-tax and after tax. My wife does not have access to an employer plan, but we do both max Roth IRAs each year and an HSA each year, which total is probably a little over 40 grand for all those four.
Wow. So how much money do you have in your retirement account? You can do it, your combine it for the pre and the post in terms of your 401k?
So 401ks, total, we're about 230. Roth IRAs are about 95.
Okay.
HSA is about 20,000. And then we have a taxable account that we treat as a retirement fund, even though we can access it. That's about 75,000.
Wow, that's great. You've done an amazing job saving. That is so good. So when you were backing into your number for the new home, were you scared because it was $1 million, or what?
Yeah.
Was that the number?
Yeah, it was somewhere between 900 and $1 million.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad that I'm relevant still. I can guess that. So it's $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not so terrible. Relax. It's all right. I mean, you make a lot of money.
Yeah, it was the sticker shock, and maybe some of this is interest rates too, because I had been assuming rates don't come down, so it'd get a little better if they did. But being locked into a $5,000, $5,500 a month mortgage was eye-opening.
What is your current payment for your condo? And give me, the principal and the interest, but also give me the homeowners insurance. The homeowners association. So the principal and interest on the mortgage is about $1,900. The HOA is another $425. Okay. So we're about a little over $2,300 there. Okay. Before selling the lot, that payment was about $800 a month, but we were setting aside $350 a month for taxes, so $1,150 there. Almost $3,500 between the two. We had a car payment, some student loan payments that were maybe another $1,000 each month. Mm-hmm. So our total debt payments previously were about $4,500 a month, and so it doesn't seem like $5,500 is that much of a stretch to replace all of those, which the car is now paid off. We use the land proceeds for that. The student loans are paid off. The land payment's gone, and the condo payment will be gone. So this would essentially be replacing those. Okay, so forgetting about the sticker shock of $5,500 a month, that you would still feel, net, if you closed your eyes and we didn't say what the categories were, we're talking about, I'm going to make it up. Let's maybe $1,500 or $2,000 a month once we put your homeowner's insurance. And we know that homeowners is ridiculous now. So we're just pop that up a little bit. So, is it possible that you go from, $4,500 to $6,000 or $6,500? Sure. But you can afford that. You can totally afford that. I think it's like peeling back. What is it that you're going to end up not doing? Okay. So you said you're saving right now about $40,000, right? Yeah. And that's not including any just surplus in our budget that, isn't going into qualified retirement accounts. There's more that's kind of going into cash savings too. How much money do you have just besides I know you have money that's in the bank from the land, that $127,000. What do you have in cash? Just boring. Like $50,000 in an emergency fund. Okay. Will either of you guys be entitled to a pension or no? No pensions. And do you have a sense, your wife's income is variable. Do you have a sense that will always be the case, or do you think that there will be, I don't know, maybe a chance for things to even out a bit? There's a chance that they would even out. A lot of the reason it's variable, she's in healthcare, and during COVID took a lot of shorter term contracts because they were paying a lot more. Mm-hmm. And so that has led to shorter term work contracts where it does vary a lot. And I think maybe if she does get frustrated enough with always looking for new jobs, she might settle into something permanent, but no idea what the amount would be. So is she a 1099 employee worker, or does she get W-2s? She has been 1099 in the past, which we set up solo 401ks for her to take advantage of that when she did, but W-2 most of the time now. Oh, interesting. Okay. I know that it might seem daunting to have that extra digit, that million. You're going to put the money down that you need to put down. You'll get the rate that you're going to get. It'll be about what your rate is now. Maybe it'll be a little bit higher. I don't know. When is the timing of all this? Very flexible. Nothing set in stone. We're kind of waiting for the right one with, land and maybe some views and close to the ski resort. I mean, it sounds like it's very doable. You're not talking about having to fund future education. So now we're just talking about, you know what, in the near term, maybe we're not going to save quite as much money in that taxable account. That's really, I think, the only thing that's going to give for you. I think that you're going to get used to making this payment. I think that, you know, if you have a bonanza year or she's working maybe she might, like, let's just say, the way I could see this changing more is, I don't know what your upside is, but for her, it may not be that she wants to be as variable. Maybe she says, I'll just take a job. And then all of a sudden she might have a retirement account with a match or not. I don't know. We'll see. But even where you are this minute, 235 grand, doing what you're doing, eradicating all of your debt, now having a higher payment. I really would be happy if you just said, I can do this. I give myself permission to do this. We put ourselves in a position to do this. Like, you can do this. I do think talking to so many people about their journey on real estate is, you know, you cannot time these markets. You just can't. So if you saw something that was great, honestly, even if it were like 1-1 and you had to stretch a tiny bit, like, I wouldn't be afraid of it. But buy the place that you want to be in for the next 20 years. Enjoy it. You don't have obligations. You have obligations to one another. And that's really, like, gives you enormous amount of freedom. If you have a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. And this is the best time of the year to start thinking about better financial decisions. Not on January 1st with New Year's resolutions, but at the year end when you actually have a chance to make a big difference in your financial life. If you want to know how, you've got to be a member of the Jill on Money live subscription service, because our next webinar is coming up on Thursday, November 14th at 7 Eastern Time. We're doing tax loss harvesting, year-end planning with a CFP CPA, Michael Goodman. Check it out at JillOnMoney.com, Jill on Money Live. Right now, let's talk to Greg, who's on the line from Florida. Hello, Greg. What can we do for you?
Hello, Jill and Mark. I was just really interested in, I feel like I have a pretty solid plan, but I kind of want to know, if I needed to fund long-term care, how would I do it? And the reason I have that concern is my mom had dementia. She's deceased, and I've got 3 sibs that are 78, 80, and 86, and it's there. It's there for a couple of them at least already. So I'm a little worried it's going to hit me, and I don't want to burden my wife and kids. Yeah, it's just, this is life. This is the way things go.
It is. Of course, I just did say to my mother, she was telling, my mom's turning 85, and she said something, I can't remember that word. I'm like, Mom, I can't remember a lot of words. So, like, life, don't worry about that. Greg, how old are you?
I'm 61.
Oh, so you're like the afterthought kid, or what?
Yes, I'm the mistake. I'm the
you're the little surprise bundle.
Surprise, yes, I was a tax deduction. That's what I kept saying.
And your spouse is how old?
She's 56.
And you said you're retired, right?
Correct.
Is your spouse still working?
No, she's a homemaker. She worked hard raising the kids.
Okay, and how old are those kids?
35, 34, and 27, almost 28.
Okay, so everyone launched?
Mostly so.
Oh, gosh. I feel like I can never ask that question to someone who is like 55 to 65 years old. It seems like everybody's like, well, if you don't count the car insurance, the subscriptions, and the $1,000 a month I'm spending for something else. So
well, they're not in the house, and one of them just kind of moved out, so there is progress. But do I think that they have a set plan for themselves. Not exactly, but they're working on it.
I hope that one of them's a doctor. No?
Pilot.
A pilot?
Yeah, he's doing well.
Wait, the pilot's good. You get to travel for free, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear. I haven't tried that yet.
Ooh, that's good. Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the assets that you have accumulated to finance this retirement that you are enjoying?
Okay. So I had a Navy and a government civilian career, and I get a pension, which I know you guys like, and I'm very happy to have it.
Yeah.
And it's actually about $100 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Cash, T-bills, and certificates at a credit union are $170.
Okay.
We have a taxable account that's $225.
Great.
Pre-tax in the TSP of $550. And in the last 10 years or so, and the last conversions that I've done, I've been able to make the Roth 1.1.
1.1 million?
Yes.
You made it sound like when you said that, like the way your voice went down. You were like one. I thought I was about to write like 100,000. So wow, that's a ton of moolah. And your wife is younger, and her health situation good?
It's good.
Okay.
Yes, good. Her mom's like 78. She's got all of her marbles, and so we're working pretty well.
Any reason that you would have to take care of her mom?
Yes, we most definitely might have to.
Okay. So it's like you get rid of 3 kids, you get one mother-in-law, life is unfair sometimes. But
sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Thing. It is. It's a real thing. So right now, given your retirement income from that pension, that $100,000 a year, does that cover your needs?
Yes. And we have been getting into, I'm taking about an extra $1,000 a month from TSP just to kind of, I don't know, to get them. It's funny, you're used to like a check 2 times a month.
That's not, I want to say something. That's not funny. I get that. It's like there's a regularity to it that you're like, oh, this is nice. I'm paying that myself. This is like basically adding to your pension, right?
Right. Okay. So right now I'm just doing another, and that's $1,000 a month. So what do I think our needs are? Gosh, I think it's probably around $9 a month, and it's been fluctuating because we've been doing the go traveling trips thing a little bit. So, but it's about that.
Do you own your home in Florida?
We have a mortgage.
Yes, you own your home is the answer.
Okay,
so yes, you do. What's the house worth before we do the mortgage?
Most of the ones around here are selling for around 5.5.
Okay, and what is the outstanding mortgage amount?
$210.
Okay. What's the interest rate?
3.75.
Great. Plan to stay there? I mean, it's sort of funny to talk to somebody from Florida because it's like you're not moving to Florida, you're in Florida. But do you want to shift houses, or what do you want?
We do want to shift. Tired of the
upkeep,
like the home insurance and property tax and hurricanes all around. I mean, overall, like Florida for no state tax, but I don't know, the environment a little bit too.
All right. But if you were to move somewhere, that would, I guess, are your kids in Florida? Might that have
I have 2 kids in Florida and the other one's out west.
If you were to move, have you really started to think about what that would mean for you guys?
No, not exactly. It seems a little daunting. You accumulate things over all this time when I was in the service. And so we have a lot of stuff to send on before we can move somewhere easily.
Okay. So you gotta do that culling. You have to Marie Kondo your house, get rid of all that old crap, move it out. And okay. So what I am hearing from you is the core issue that you're worried about is, look, if something bad happens to me, what happens to my poor wife and the kids? Because you fear that you might need some assistance. More with Greg in a minute. This is the Jill on Money Show.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to Greg from Florida. If we wanted to buy long-term care insurance, we'd have to go out on the marketplace to buy a policy for you, which would be expensive. I got to be honest with you. And of course, sadly, you can't lie about it. Like they're going to say like, oh, is there dementia in your family? You're going to be like, oh, crap. Now I got that. Right. So I don't think that may be the best way. So here's the other way to think about it, which is, hey, I've got I have almost $2 million. And if I needed some assistance, I'd always have that pension coming in. So, it's not like you need assistance and you need to replicate all the money, right? You would need some of the money would be defrayed. Probably, if you are really worried about this, if you were thinking about buying another house in another place, like you would really want to make sure that's in your head about like, what's the kind of house we'd want to live in under those circumstances.
You say he's got $2 million. I kind of think of it, he's got like $5 million.
All right, calm down. Don't say that. That's not what because it doesn't matter because then but if he really and the reason why Mark is saying that, everybody, is he is counting the pension. Will you be entitled to Social Security as well?
Yes.
So at 67, what's the Social Security benefit?
3232.
I think that kind of pays for your long-term care if you need it, and your wife's going to get half of it. So, I don't think you go out and buy a policy. You have consistent income through your pension and your Social Security. I think that it makes a lot of sense for you to be aware of this as an issue, which is like you're not the normal 61-year-old who might be like, I have so much money, I'm good. Instead of spending, 100 or 120 grand a year, we're going to spend 150 grand a year, which you might do if you were in the kind of person who's like, I have great health outcomes. Everyone in my family's healthy. My mother-in-law is fine and I'm going to inherit $1 million. Like there's a lot of people who live their lives a little bit bigger at this point. I think for you, the idea is that if you needed something later in life, you would have that Social Security income. You probably are not going to spend so much money. And I would be a little bit careful about if you're going to buy another home, right? And you've got this 300 grand of equity or 300 and some month equity. I'm not so keen on you like blowing through a whole bunch of your money to get to like a much different kind of dwelling. That's what I would say. Like, in other words, if you said, I found the greatest house, Jill. It's a 3-bedroom patio, blah, blah, blah. It's part of a homeowner's, It's $1 million. I don't know. I don't love that. I don't love that as a game plan because I think that one of the things that we're suggesting is that you can self-insure for long-term care. And if that's the case, we just don't want you to blow through all your money. I think it's great that you take the TSP money out, by the way. And if you are going to move to a more tax unfriendly state, it would also mean to me, you should take more money out of that thrift savings plan.
Right. Convert it?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even convert it. I mean, I don't know. I just take the money out and pay the tax that's due. So let's just say you're married filing jointly. You can have income of about 200 grand a year. So that means that the cash and the T-bill income plus your taxable account income plus your pension income, in addition to that, up to about $200,000 keeps you in the 22% bracket. I would do that every year.
Okay. And
I would take that money and I'd throw it in my taxable account. I would not look back. Don't spend it. You can spend some of it. You can spend some of it, not all of it. I think we're telling you that your long-term care plan is that you will plan to self-insure. You are fortunate in that pension income provides this beautiful base. Just be a little careful. If you need some more help, once you get rid of all the stuff in your house and you're really thinking about another place, if you start to come to a place where you say, I'm really ready to pull the trigger on a place and here's the kind of the money we're looking at, let's talk. Let's see what is the smartest way for you to get into that new place. Okay.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. In regards, I do have estate planning documents and all that stuff. We just redid those. I know this is it's not necessarily off topic, but is a trust a better thing for worries about dementia, or as long as all the accounts have a beneficiary?
Well, I would say
pay on
this.
death?
Yeah, if your taxable account is a transfer on death account, then we know a couple of things. So the taxable account transfers on death. The thrift savings plan transfers on death. The Roth transfers on death. The cash and the T-bills, if you have a transfer on death through your bank or the financial institution, that'll do it for you. So then the only thing that would pass, I guess the house would also pass by contract because you own it jointly with your wife.
Correct.
So I don't think you need a trust. If you're asking me, oh, wait, should I throw everything in an irrevocable or non-changeable trust so that I can qualify for Medicaid? No. You have great services because you served in the Navy. So if you had to, I'm not saying you will. Chances are, the way most of this works, I don't know how it is with your SIBs, people need care in the home before they need anything else. And that's usually what happens. And it's usually like it's a real number, 20, 25, 30 grand a year. That's why I'm looking at that Social Security and saying, that'll do it, I think.
Okay.
All right. Now play bridge, and keep that mind sharp.
Learn bridge. Okay.
Put that on the list.
Okay.
Anything else for us? You good?
No, I think this really does it.
All right. Greg, I feel like now that you've actually said these words out loud, you're probably going to be okay. Just no dementia for Greg. I'm putting it out in the universe. Everyone, think about it. If you have a financial issue, just go to JillOnMoney.com. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to answer your financial questions. We do that by encouraging you to do a bit of work. That work includes going to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and clicking the Contact Us button. See, it's not that much work. It's pretty easy. While you are on the website, you will see there's all sorts of stuff that lives there. All of our content, as a matter of fact. And I'd love to point out one part of the website that we don't talk about as much, and that is the blog section. That is the part of the website where I can just process whatever's on my mind every single week. And so you'll see all different kinds of things. Sometimes it's an economic post. Sometimes it's about something that's really important to me that I think is important to you. And recently, I put a post up called Yes, Everyone Needs a Will, because it was National Estate Planning Awareness Week at the end of October. So I really wanted to kind of blow the horn and say, come on, gang, this is a really important topic. And by the way, we got a wonderful email about this from Pat, who heard me talk about this on NPR on the show Here and Now, where I'm a weekly guest. And Pat writes, I thought I'd share a hint that a lawyer once told me about when to actually redo your wills. The lawyer said, pick winter or summer Olympics, and when that happens, pull out your will and your estate documents and review them. What a wonderful way to think about this. So every 4 years, kind of smart, right? And you look at what you have, make sure it still reflects what you want, and get it done, because everybody really does need a will. Don't gloss over. I know this is not the most fun thing. It's like the trifecta of emotions, right? You're talking about death or end of life and money. Oh boy, that's a lot. But once you get it done, you'll have peace of mind. And who doesn't want peace of mind? That's like a wonderful thing to have when it comes to this particular issue, right? Okay, well, that is it. That is the program. Thank you so much for listening. You can find all of the information that we talk about on our website, JillOnMoney.com, and you can always click that Contact Us button if you'd like to come on the air. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and king of all things web, and we love to ask you to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.